Hello everybody. Thought I'd do a cheeky little live for you. I absolutely love this water bottle. I kept running out of water and I go on long drives and stuff, and I was like, I can't be doing this, so I got myself this huge bad boy. Kids can't even lift it. If I had two of them, I could literally use them as weights. Keep the boys happy. So, as I'm going to wait for a couple of people to jump on, get a little bit of engagement, and we can get this thrown out for a few more people. As it suggests, I wanted to follow up with a few of the questions which I can't really be using on a live or a masterclass, which is going to be, I'll explain what I did survey for. Basically, it dawned on me that some of the clients and some of the people that I've worked with in the past, and I always do follow-ups, even though I might not be working with them anymore, just to check out how they're doing. And I always ask like a question, if you've got any struggles, anything you want to ask me with. And it dawned on me that it'd be a really good idea to kind of create a survey and give it out to people that I work with online, so other coaches, mentors, digital entrepreneurs, people in multi-level marketing, network marketing, that kind of thing. And find out exactly where new people that are coming into this from the whole thing that's going on on the world, not even the planet, well, everywhere. Got to be so careful what you say because of things like censorship. So you can't be saying certain words. Got to be really careful. So I thought it'd be a really good idea to use across different channels, to talk to people from different walks of life, and just to find out, who's engaging mostly with the stuff that I've got. Hello, sister. I think she's actually sat in the other room watching this. And also, it'd be really powerful for me to find out what like key things that us humans are struggling with at the moment. Because a lot of the time, a lot of what we struggle with is actually the same. It's just because of all our internal gubbins that we all just look at things differently, even though we kind of all want the same thing and we've got the same limiting beliefs. So I thought it was interesting to actually ask those questions. So what came up, some of those questions, which we're going to do a live masterclass in about a month, and that'll be all around how to stay positive in these uncertain times with what's going on in the world, even if you're surrounded by negative people in the workplace, family dynamics, and people being forced together, boyfriends and boyfriends, girlfriends and boyfriends, girlfriends and girlfriends, husbands, wives, exes, all being forced to spend a lot of time together. And a lot of people haven't done that inner healing and stuff. So people like myself that are into law of attraction, into spirituality, and as well as in that healing kind of space and that self-improvement space, we've got a bit of a responsibility really to actually help other people. And some of the style of stuff that we do, we can actually tell and other people what we do and what it's done for us. And if people resonate with that, they can actually pick it up and start using some of these tools and resources for themselves. So we're not here to convince anyone of anything, just sharing and sharing opportunity really more than anything else. So without further ado, what were some of the questions that came up? So first of all is a good one, is who inspires me, like who my mentors are. So if I say who inspires me first, there's a lot of people. Jojo, I don't know if you meant to, but I don't know if you mean to just jump on the live or you're requesting to actually be involved as a guest. I'm not sure. So who inspires me? Well, basically, it's really easiest to say I came back from Spain just over 3 years ago on a self-development journey after being unplugged, like Neo from the Matrix. So suddenly I was like, wow, everything starts to make sense to me. I'm not fucking crazy. This is why I've been this way. This is how I'm going to start understanding stuff. So I came back. I was in a quite bad place, suffering. Started seeing a psychotherapist, was seeing someone do cognitive behavioural therapy, and I was basically learning about behavioural traits and the games that people play. Really powerful stuff. Got myself out of overthinking too much with hypnosis, and basically did a course in solution-focused hypnotherapy, which is really beautiful relaxation techniques and therapy using law of attraction and neuro-linguistic programmed language to be thought-provoking and to take the mind on a journey to be thought-provoking and take you towards what you want in life rather than focused on what you don't want. Really powerful, loved it. Right at the end of doing that course, I realised that I needed to learn about marketing online. So I discovered ways of learning about that online, and the community that I joined, I'm still with now, sort of over 2 years later. And I've built a team as an affiliate marketer using network marketing. And everything that we do with, say, self-improvement, self-development, books, support and coaching, mentoring, looking after people, it it's all included in that. So that's brilliant. And I love that. I love building the team. I love the products we work with, the health and wellness space. It's the knowledge industry. So I love all that. So within that, I started reading books, self-development, stuff like that. So Louise Hay has been a huge influence to me. Really good as like the basic fundamentals of law of attraction, affirmations, speaking kindly to yourself. Some great lessons, some great audio books as well. God bless her soul, she's not with us anymore. So Louise Hay, a guy called Adrian Wesley, is probably the most referred clinical hypnotherapist on the planet. He is a specialist hypnotherapist, human optimization coach, which supports entrepreneurs and solely people in the business that I'm in online. We've got, in our network, we've got 5,000 distributors. In a wider network outside of us, we've got another 10,000. But even within the organisation, the companies we work with, there's a couple of million people. So he only works with people in that kind of space. And he has thousands of people subscribing to daily audios and things like that. And he's been brilliant. I've met him myself in Barcelona. I'm an advocate of his. I'm a part of his audio club, Daily Motivation. I have reprogramming audios of his with Delta Wave Music for sleep audios, as well as reprogramming for during the day. So he's been fundamentally a really, really good support for me. Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks talks about the teachings. It's Jerry Hicks. Esther Hicks. So Jerry and Esther Hicks are man and wife, but they could say Abraham Hicks because she channels the teachings of Abraham through her spirit guides. She channels. And herself, the way she kind of talks about law of attraction and spirituality is beautiful, and it's really, really resonates with me. I can really understand her. So she's brilliant. Also, Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza links very nicely. He's a doctor. He talks about heart and brain coherence. He talks about neuroplasticity. And he basically links spirituality and science very, very nicely. So they're great. Another couple of names I can just throw out there that I've really liked listening to over these past time, and I've learned a lot from. Jordan Peterson's a good one to go and listen out to. Mel Robbins, Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins. Even Denzel Washington's a really, really good one. And Will Smith come out with some great stuff. Did I say Wayne Dyer? Wayne Dyer, Jordan Peterson. So that's got an overview of where I'm coming from and where I've got some of my education, self-education, as well as learning from these people, these gurus. Who are my mentors now? Okay, I've always done my training, apart from the hypno, I've done my training with my accreditation for coaching, the life coaching staff, different frameworks with NLP, and learning like influencer training from people, that are influencers, millionaires, and that kind of thing. Because if you are the average of the 5 people you hang around, it's important to have lessons and shoulders rubbing against people that are going to lift you up, lift your status, lift up where you kind of the imagination, what you envisage is possible for you in your life. If if you're not striding high, then you're going to be kind of crawling around. So it's important to be aware of those things. So the coaching masters are fantastic. Liam, James Collins, Lewis, Raymond Taylor, Jonathan Mitchell, Love Island's Johnny Mitchell from years ago. These guys are brilliant, and I've met these guys. They're great guys, good mentors, good coaches. Their mission and what they've done with the Coaching Masters is fantastic. Now for my own community, I have my own team. I also have people kind of above me that have helped me get to where I am in my business, and I'm not going to name those people because you ain't going to know who they are anyway, but people within our community know who they are. So there's a couple of like founding leaders, Tom, Adam, Lily, Ali and Ben, very, very close to you guys. So thank you for that. I don't know if there's a description. If there's whoever's watching this in the description, have I missed out anything there? I just say who. Oh, that's it. The last question I was going to answer on this live was what? Hello, little man. You all right? Do you want to come and say hello? Okay. This is my little guy. This is Joey. So I've always called you Grandad then, because you've been calling me Grandad all day. I'm not Grandad. I'm Uncle. He's 5. Yeah. See you in a bit, mate. Cool. So the other thing I was going to say was someone asked me, what's the craziest thing you've ever done and you wouldn't do it again? And to be honest, it's not the kind of thing you'd normally come out with. But I said the craziest thing that I've ever done, and I've done it twice. And the only reason it's crazy now is because of what I know now, But what the crazy thing was is basically twice I got into relationships with people that I wasn't that into to start with. Towards it at the end I was, and if something changes, and that's to do with self-sabotage, we're not going to go into all that stuff. But I basically went through two cycles of having like a similar relationship when I was 23, and then when I was 30. Spent 5 years with each of these girls. Lovely girls. Still see them about now. They're doing very well. I wasn't the best I can be. I'm much better now than I was then, poor buggers. But the crazy thing that I did was basically knowing that it wasn't maybe 100% right, stayed with them anyway, and then, just got really, really messy, to be fair. And so that's important for me to recognise that, because I know I will not do that again. You have to kind of, if you've been single for a while, you had that breakup, you've got to date yourself for a little while. You've got to get used to being on your own. Candles fit the flame, not the other way around. So get your flame burning right. And then, hi, Christy, for jumping on. Give us a wave or a thumbs up or something where you listening from. So it's important. It's important to kind of do that little self-loving. Thank you. Cheers for that. It's important to do that self-discovery, whether that's just learning about yourself, whether that's actually going through some of your past traumas, and just being honest with yourself. Hi, Chantel. Give us a thumbs up. Hope you're well. Where you looking in from? Cheers. So yeah, I went through that, and I should have done that before. And I know that from breaking up with people and being kind of broken man before, many years ago in my 20s, that when you get happy on your own, then things start to happen. Because I remember I was really in a good place, and then all of a sudden start getting a lot of attention, and then someone's like, oh, I could have a relationship, and it was like, oh, but I'm really happy in my life right now, and and it kind of just works out like that. So I kind of think, oh, you're coming in, Chantel's coming in from Bromley. I'm only down the road, actually, my girl. You should give me a private message sometime, see if we meet up for a coffee. So, hi, Louise. Hope you're well. So it's really, really important as single people to actually identify with, it's only now that I'm kind of saying that I'm not romantically unavailable anymore. And that's only because I was very, very anti things. And then it's quite funny because my Reiki master basically said, oh, this is this lovely lady that you've got to meet. And she said the same to her, but we both turned round and said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not looking for anyone. I'm working on myself. I've got my own stuff going on. And then we did actually accidentally kind of bump into each other, and we spent a little bit of time together, and that's cool. We're not together now. We're still friends, and we've still got that part of our spiritual journey together and a connection, which is lovely. We're both very much in control of what we're doing and learning and growing. So, and that's nice. That's nice that it hasn't been some sort of weirded out thing that I've had years ago. I'll be honest with you. I met someone that I wasn't interested in at all, but I'd been on my own for a while. Someone was quite flattering me kind of when I was working on a door a few years ago, and kind of said, oh, come and have a drink with us, blah, blah, blah. And we slept together. And then for about a month afterwards, I felt really bad. I felt bad because she wanted say, oh, come and see us, have a drink, and I wasn't interested. And I was just like, oh, you really got to learn by this. You can't be doing these things as a spiritual man. I know that there's it's so much energy transferred. There's feelings, taken into consideration. So I basically shut myself down for a couple of years after that, until I just knew that it'd be all right, and at some point you'd meet someone and it'd be okay. And now, based upon the energetics, rather than being a fueled up party boy, having parties and just frivolously having sex with people and it not really having much meaning, being a bit of a lad really, I physically can't do that anymore. I couldn't do it because of the energetics and being sensitive and not wanting to kind of shit on people. So that's good, that's encouraging. Any other blokes actually listening to this would actually fucking freak out and be like, what's he talking about, geezer? He's gay. But it's not that. Ooh, cats are fighting. Look, Gingy's there. There's the Gingy. I thought my other one was behind me. So yeah, I suppose talking about feminine energy, I think that women understand that a lot more with the energetics of giving yourself to someone. There's a lot of stuff energetic that you can receive. So yeah, so that's the craziest thing that I've done, is basically getting myself into relationships with people that you kind of know they don't feel right. So you need to trust your spider senses. So I hope you find that useful. Giving you a little insight of who's given me inspiration in the last 3 years when I've been studying. I've been learning some right new things recently about kind of... I know that there's a hell of a lot of people in the coaching, mentoring space and are entrepreneurs, and we're kind of like self-improvement junkies, or addicts, should I say, because we go from book to book to lesson to lesson, and we're trying to implement this stuff and we're trying to get better. Just reading a couple of those. So it is important to be aware. Completely lost my train of thought, and I'll tell you why I've lost my train of thought. Louisa said, people come into our lives for a reason, and it's time to be, and your time to be happy will come. Yeah, everyone needs to believe that, and yeah, people do come into your lives for a reason. That is true. So, go back on point. So, what have I been doing recently? It's changing. What is done is some of the things I'm learning about is some people can spend years and years and years of their life. Some people have spent, that I'm speaking to recently and that I've helped and shifted them, they've been doing self-development stuff for like 20, 30 years, or been in a position where they've had like antidepressants, and they come to speak to me and they just had a different outlook or different perspective on it. And I'm like, wow, well, that's only because of the research I've done, and I'm relatively new to this stuff, but I'm very much in it. And that's how I've ended up like having clients. And that was another one of the questions, was how did I come about my first client? I actually needed to... You're a very lovely soul and you will shine again. Don't know about shining again. I'm shining now, darling. I'm shining bright. Don't worry about that. If you're talking about the whole being in a relationship and vibing high, then great. Yeah, I'll take that. And the universe will do that whenever it needs to. But as far as just shining again, we're always shining. The light is always in us. We are infinite energy beings living in this human existence. So we are always shining. It's a choice. So hello, someone's messaging me. So I know that we could go for 30 odd years going through law of attraction, affirmations, gratitude, and you might not get it, and it might not work for you. And then what happens is why does this stuff keep happening? So all the time that we're focused on the why is this not happening, or it's not working for me, it's not going to. So I'm not going to go much into it too much, but I've really been working on some really phenomenal stuff about changing that perspective and how we change the language we use with ourselves, so that if I'm stood there going, I'm fit and healthy and I'm fit and healthy, and anyone's been, on my journey for a couple of years, no, I haven't been fit and healthy all this time. I've been working towards something. So it would be, rather than I'm fit and healthy, I've changed the language to as I'm truly happy and grateful now that I'm on the road to being in the best fitness of my life, and the universe is supporting me in my mission to do so. Because then what it does is it creates that, well, what if? So, if we need to live in the what is, in the moments, in the presence of things, where all the good stuff is, rather than getting ahead of it and thinking about the future, which we're imagining, or making a past memory show up and feeling the emotions when it's already been done. Waste of our time, guys. Waste of our time. So what we do is we'd look at the what is and the what ifs. So what if I had 55 grand in the bank from helping 5 people on a course, on a retreat? What if? So if I ask what if, all of them, it's like when I say don't think about a pink elephant. Don't think about a pink elephant. You can't not think about it, because our mind doesn't work like that. So if I'm forcing myself to think of what does my life look like if I've got £1 million in the bank? What does my life look like if I've got a 6-pack? What am I doing? Who am I with? And how am I feeling when I've got these things in my life that I'm working towards? Now that is super, super powerful. So it's not... I say on some things, law of attraction is bullshit, or how we've basically disproved law of attraction. It's not. That's just a hook, because people are like, what do you mean it's bullshit? Oh my God, like something new. But what it does do is, yes, okay, we can do these affirmations, we can do that. But what I've been doing for the past 3 years is I've been saying to myself that I am worthy, I'm deserving. And as I've expanded, the stuff that I've buried, deep traumas from years ago have been buried down, have come to the surface. So now what I'm doing is I'm spending a lot of time in my family home that I grew up in. The reason being is the energy that I'm dealing with was formed here. My sister's here, my mum's here, my dad's here at the moment. My dad's about to go back to Spain. They've just had their jabs. I'm not getting into that either, but parents have had their jabs. And I feel like I want to be close to them. I want to give them a bit of my peace, healing, energy, light and positivity. So I've spent a bit of time here. It's just felt nicer than being on my own all the time. I've spent like about 5 weeks being quite close to someone, got used to that, and had the idea that I could kind of be with someone again, and it was taken away. So massive lesson to be learned. but I kind of enjoy that, being around people. So I thought, well, what I do is I tweak what I'm doing. I can do the lessons learned and actually just push that back out to people and really help them. And where I'm going to help you guys is because of when the survey I did, the thing that came up was staying positive, dealing with negative people. And that's something that we're all going to suffer with from time to time. But as coaches, mentors, or people in either a therapist space, some sort of practitioner, and I class teaching as that as well, okay? So in my network, I've got a lot of you guys, and a lot of you very, very good at staying positive or trying to be positive, but there'll be some language that you're kind of fucking yourself in your own arse, pardon the pun, serious chat. But it will happen that way, and it's not that you mean to, it's just that you'll turn around, and because if you don't know, you don't know, and then once you know something, you can't unknow it. So you'd like turn around and go, I always do that, or I'm trying to do that, and would you change those words to something a little bit more empowering, like, yeah, I'm doing it, or I've nearly got to the stage of that, and it just changes that language so it changes the picture in your head. So one thing that doesn't say in law of attraction is get really, really good at visualization. Getting really good at that whole, what if I was doing that, if I was living that, what would my life look like? What would I feel like? Who would know? Who else does it involve? Who else does it affect? Now, these are quantum questions. When we ask quantum questions to ourselves, it's self-therapy. Now, if we do that with a little touch of relaxation, a little bit of delta waves for balancing brain waves and for, creating that homeostasis in our body to thrive, ask yourself the right question, all of a sudden you'll take yourself on a journey. That journey is going to make the feelings and the thoughts take you towards outcomes. And that's where the power is in the work that I've been doing recently. So we're going to be doing in about 4 weeks' time, and I'm going to keep coming on and saying these little things because I want to have as many coaches, people that are actually working with me on the online space within DPM. If you don't know what that means, doesn't matter. If you do, great. You guys can come on any of my lives, my courses that I'm going to create in the future, and you can come on for free. All we're going to do is help to promote so that then other people can benefit from this too. Then those people are welcome to actually come on board with things or just get the value from the training. As simple as that. So thank you, Delphi. Watching coaching. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for jumping on there. I'm just going to give you guys a few likes. I really need to do these a little bit more often, and what I'll probably do is actually in the future I might actually call up some of my team and say, right, I'm going live, get conversations going so that we get a little bit more engagement. I'm still getting censored really, really badly on my videos and stuff, but I hope you enjoyed it. If anyone's got a quick question, I'll give you 30 seconds, chuck a question in if you want to ask me a Q&A. I'll do that quickly before moving on. But I hope you find that interesting. I hope that the way I'm coming across, the way I'm delivering, the way I'm talking is with energy. You are getting a lot of value out of it. Hashtag replays up in there if you're watching. So yeah, I think I covered everything in the description. So what inspires me? Getting my first client. Oh, I didn't actually finish that. So I actually got my first clients because I needed hypnotherapy. I needed to do case studies. So I needed to practice using the language patterns and reading and delivering it. So I got my first clients by doing things like putting in the buy and sell groups on Facebook. Hi, I'm studying as XYZ. I'm looking for people that would like to experience relaxation or to deal with non-smoking, OCDs, PTSD, anxiety, depression, and a host of other things in between. So I had about 8 to 12 people on and off for the best part of sort of 6 to 9 months. Then I was working more online with people, and I started doing some coaching, mentoring. So it's like more thought-provoking questions, so I could get different angles and different skills and tools using NLP techniques, CBT, so that's neuro-linguistic programming, which is the basis of all psychiatry, really, to be honest with you, in my opinion. And then you've got things like CBT, which the NHS love, but to be honest, it's all fucking NLP, so just go to someone. Don't fuck around with counsellors and stuff. You've got your friends that you can tell your miserable shit to. But then you need to be solution focused. You need to know where you are, where you want to change your thoughts to get you to it, and fucking go and do it. Simples. None of this bollocks. My mum, bless her, she spent fucking 15 years probably talking about the same shit over and over and over again. And hey, she'll still fucking go and sit and cry about the same shit that she's been trying to deal with for 15, 16 years. I'm not the person to fix her, I'm too close to her. But in time, when she sees the work that I'm doing with other people, she's going to listen, she's going to stand up, or one of my associates might be able to help. But that's a perfect example of why it's the self-development journey and changing what you do and pivoting and moving towards new ways of doing things is really, really important. Because if you don't change what you're doing, the outcome's not going to change. And Einstein's definition of insanity is he's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So after that, my first actual fully paid client, which was going to be a 12-week program for £1,500. So in all, it's about 100 quid a session. One session a week. And that was a colleague of mine doing a course online, had someone, her partner in America, and she was like, oh, you've dealt with this, that, and I'd come out of a background where I was like drinking, partying a lot, bit of a lad, boozy background, relationship traumas, and a bad relationship with myself. So it was everything that this guy was needing. And wanting, really. So what people want and what they need are two different things. So we can highlight what people want and we can say, right, this is the package, this is what you want. But what they need is what we give them. But if we actually market it as what you need is this, then no, I don't need that. So you have to be a little bit like, you have to be a little bit kind of coy with it and say, well, okay, do you need X, Y, and Z? But you add loads of other bits in to add value. So that was my first one. So I had the first full paying client off the bat, was an international client. Then somebody just from an Instagram or something saw my quotes and was like, oh, I'd like to speak to you about working. And I just went, yeah, 500 quid a month. We'd go 3 months. She went, yeah, no problem. So that was her. Still with her now. She actually messaged me earlier, from my hometown. We meet up quite a lot. Yeah, good girl. And she's good. She's still doing her work. There's some things I can't help her with because it's not my niche, my specialty. But I've got a plethora of different coaches and people with amazing skills. She's a light worker herself. So I've just pushed her into the direction of someone that can help her with the things that, I'm like, well, maybe I'm not the right person to help with that, but she can. So I refer her over. And then from then, again, I had lots of inquiries from like Instagram because of my quotes. And that was new people. I get a lot of people asking me now saying, how much do you charge? And I don't say anything because I'm like, well, I'm not typically working with people one-to-one. And I can't say, you can't go into the doctor and say, right, how much for the pills? You've got to tell him what pills you want. Well, you've got to tell him what you need, what you want, what the problem is. And then he knows what pills, and then you're going to know how much or what you need to do, right? So if someone messages me going, how much do you charge? And I'm like, well, for what? What do you need? Do you need accountability one-to-one? Do you need a couple of hours a week? Do you need a one-to-one session with me? Do you need hypnotherapy and relaxation and accountability? Do you need coaching and mentoring? Do you need me to hold your hand and basically to make a program for you where it's going to tell you when to get out of bed, what you're going to eat, what you're going to do, what you're going to think, and then I'm going to message you and find out that you're doing it? Or do you just need a friend? Do you need someone that you can do some meditations with? Do you need someone that's going to hold your hand through some holistic practices? Do you need someone that's going to talk to you about how turning your tarot card business into a free Facebook page that you can then do adverts for and push out to people? That's very, very different to someone that's suffering from anxiety and depression and is suicidal. So that's why. And if someone then turns around and says, oh, seems a lot, and it's like, okay, it's fine. There's loads of free stuff you can do out there. The problem is that people don't go and do it. So when people pay, they pay attention. And when people pay, there's that perceivedness of needing to provide value. So that's why. So if someone does turn around and say, I want to do a 3-month program. And to be honest, now a lot of the programs with the resources that are thrown in, it's cost me in nearly 30 grand over 3 years of private coaching, mentoring, 7 or 8 different courses. And I've got all the slides, all this, and I can retrain that and repurpose it and actually sit and do some of that stuff with people and teach them. So not only teach someone how to be better, but how these frameworks actually work and how they can then use them to help other people. Okay, I'm not a trainer in the sense, but if you're then going to learn something that's going to benefit your family, your friends, your children, that's super fucking powerful, right? Super, super powerful. So when someone turns around and says, oh, that seems like a lot, and it's like, okay, well, let's look at it another way. If I turn around and said, right, it's going to be £2,000 for basically 15 sessions over 3 months, and you're going to get a couple meetups with me in person for that, and you pay up front, but then you're like, oh, I don't know. But if I put it a different way and I said, okay, what are you suffering with? And they said, look, I'm low confidence, I'm suffering with anxiety and depression, and I want to lose a bit of weight. And I'm saying, right, okay, in 12 weeks' time, if we've got you down, lost a bit of weight, but on the recovery of changing some of your routines, if you're happier, healthier, not suffering from anxiety, understanding a lot about how your brain works, where anxiety and depression comes from, what you can do daily to get yourself out of that fix, the positivity positivity, different frameworks and things that you can do. Little munchkin's back. Positivity and little frameworks that you can do, and just speaking kindly to yourself. How much is that worth to you? I'm telling you now, if you could at the end of your life have 15 months onto the end of your life and you was told how much is that worth to you, it's priceless. It is fucking priceless. So I know I was tight-assed my whole life, and I invest in myself. When you invest is best. And I've got so much free stuff as well. I've got so many free courses and stuff, but you don't get a lot out of free courses because they're going to keep dropping in. You're waiting for that golden nugget, which is going to change everything. They're not giving you that golden nugget. They're going to give you so much of everything else to say, this is what we're giving you for free. Now, if I give you that golden nugget, it's worth that little bit of exchange of energy, because we're talking about money, and energy is the same thing. But unfortunately, I might have had to go out and do security and get, say, 10 quid an hour. So then I'd work 100 hours and I get £1,000. Now, if something cost me £1,000, I know that I've attributed 1,000 hours of my time, and if it's something that I didn't like doing, then it's painful. So that £1,000 is worth a hell of a lot to me. But if I've coached someone, or I've gone and done a group training, and it's 1 hour for, say, 100 people for £1,000, and then I accidentally drop that £1,000 on the street, the homeless guy is going to think he's won the fucking lottery, whereas I'm going to go, oh, shit, I fucking just lost that hour's pay. So you can see how money and energy are very, very different depending on what it cost you to obtain it in the first place. So that wasn't a very quick one, was it? So thank you very much, Lee. I hope you enjoyed that. So anyone that's watching this, please throw us up some engagement. When as soon as you start watching, right at the end as well, replays, where you are, just give me a little thumbs up. Even put in what the best thing that you thought. If anything was a takeaway for you, then let me know that it was a takeaway. Or you can even ask me a question and I'll get back to you in a DM about what the question was. Or even still, guys, I could even do another video another time for you. Okay? So remember, the thoughts that you have create your reality. That where energy is always going to follow your thoughts. So where thoughts goes, energy flows. And your subconscious mind is always listening, taking orders from you. And what's been going in is what's created our personality biases and our personality traits. And that's how we see the world. That's how we show up in the world. Habits are formed over time, but you can create new habits within 21 to 28 days. And that's habitual habits, doing something over and over again. And when your neurons wire together and when you create habits, they fire together and they start showing up on their own. And then what happens essentially is these habits become second nature. They help you to create a new lifestyle. Also, it helps you to create positive thinking instead of all the negative programming that we've had. So if you're interested in learning a bit more about how to stay positive in these current times, even if you've got negative people around you, drop us some DM or drop us like the yin yang sign so I know that you're interested. And when we get the graphics ready and actually get the go ahead to actually do these lives, because I'm not sure how I'm going to deliver it yet. I'm going to do it like through YouTube, and then stream it into Facebook. I'm not sure exactly. Not anyone knows, but there's a lot of restrictions and stuff on Facebook at the moment for doing lives and stuff. So especially when we talk about positivity and light and dark, I want it to be bulletproof so that, one, I don't lose it, it doesn't get taken down, and that then I can use it afterwards as well to actually repurpose the people that missed it, that helped me with that survey. So, that being said, I'm going to go. So I hope you found that useful. It's always great to be on these things. As we grow, as we learn, we need to teach. And thank you everyone for dropping them. Namaste. See you guys. Never touch that blim button, do I?